Yeah. I don't want to be famous.
It started like this. When Lethal signed me to the pre-production deal, Danny, I was staying on Danny's couch, and Lethal signed me and Big Left, who was originally in La Coca Nostra, and this other kid, Optimus, all to separate solo pre-production deals, but he didn't really have time to do all of the separate projects, so he ended up being like, here, everybody come in the studio, and we did like 23 songs in 9 days. And that situation didn't end up materializing. It kind of fizzled out or whatever, but Danny kind of he made that bad-ass logo, and he just had the idea for the group, so he put up a MySpace page. And when I came back out to LA for a little bit, ended up linking up with Everlast and Ill Bill, and you know, it just kind of organically happened after that. It wasn't something that was set up. It was just we were getting in the studio and
just vibing.
And you know, I think we had like 1 million plays on MySpace. You know, back when we first started doing some stuff right off the bat, and got a crazy buzz for it, and we just started rocking with that. So that was kind of the beginning of La Coca Nostra. At that time, I quit the construction job that I had, which is the last regular job. But I knew I had to put all my time into music, but I really wasn't making any money off it yet. So I was squatting in this warehouse in Boston, and I had no hot water or electricity in the building I was living in. And I would charge my phone up the street at the bar, at the after hours bar. And I came home one night, and it was one morning, they did a Boston Herald story on me. So I bought every Boston Herald that was on the rack. I came back, I had to climb a ladder to get to the spot I was sleeping in. And I couldn't believe I was in the newspaper. I passed out, I woke up, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I had 66 missed phone calls. And Ben Affleck had read the story in the paper and saw my picture and wanted me to come in and audition for his movie, Times Over the Month. You know, I went in, and he liked what I was doing. I read for the first part, I read for it twice, and then he switched the part that he wanted me to, which was the eventual part that I got. For Bubba Rogowski, I auditioned for that like 3 times, and then I didn't hear back for a month. And I guess the producers didn't want him to hire me.
Because they thought you were...
I don't know. I don't know that it would be speculation for me to say why they didn't want him to. But you know, he basically kind of he fought for me to get that part. And I was actually in LA working with Lethal the day that I found out that I got it. And me and Lethal drove into Hollywood after I got the call, and Lethal ran into the ATM or something. I remember I was just looking up at the sky, and tears started to come, were like running down my face when I got that part, because it just felt like something it felt like my life was changing right then. You know, like
kind of a turning point moment.
All the you know, the years that went into the music and all that stuff, and you know, kind of the setbacks that I've had and all that stuff, it just seemed like things were going to work out right there. Yeah, I had a cool part in that. I was a getaway driver.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that was just one of the great experiences of my life, man, shooting that movie. I mean, we did a shootout scene with machine guns in Fenway Park. When I grew up, I worked in Fenway Park selling concessions, you know, up and down the, you know, selling Coke in the stands and stuff like that. So when I walked into Fenway and get the machine gun and stuff, like all the guys who work in Fenway remember me from when I was a kid. You know what I mean? The older guys that have been there for a while and stuff like that. So it was just really surreal experience, man. And
Georgie done good.
It was cool, man. It's you know, I can't imagine anything. I look back on that, shooting that movie, as one of the great times of my life. Right there, you know, behind the birth of my son and stuff like that. Like, it was just, there was so much positive energy on the set. It was such a good time shooting it. And then I'm sure it helps too, the fact that it came out and made $150 million and kind of, it was a big hit.
Yeah. And this next movie you got coming out with Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, man. That was cool.
By the Gun, December 12th.
December 5th, actually.
December 5th. Oh, boosted up. Okay. All right. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, my friend Emilio wrote it, and I was on tour with Head PE, and he sent me the script, and I was busy. I was on the road, and I had just gotten divorced, and I was kind of in a mess in my. When am I not a mess, right? But I didn't read it, and then when he's like, "Did you read it yet? Did you read it yet? I wrote a part for you," and I was like, "All right, I'll read it." So I got home and I read it, and I loved it. I loved the script. He killed it, and I was like, "Well, what do you want to do? Are you gonna make it?" So we proceeded to kind of attack getting this movie made together, and we went out and started raising some money, and we raised a pretty good size amount of money, and then we got some producers on board, and then we got some really good actors on board, including Harvey Keitel, and we shot it for under $2 million in Boston and Providence.
What's the premise?
It's kind of an updated mob story, kind of the mafia as it is now, kind of a shell of itself.
Okay.
The glory days. It's just kind of been busted down to
A couple of old timers.
Yeah, but then the main character is Ben Barnes, and he's a kid who grew up watching Goodfellas and The Godfather, and he grew up in the neighborhood, and he looked up to the mafia, and he always wanted to be in the mafia, so it's him trying to get made. And it's kind of the story of that. That's what the story is.
And it's Boston mob, obviously. It's that.
Yeah, and I play his best friend, but I'm Irish, and I don't like those guys. They don't like me. I'm kind of a lone wolf type of dude, but I'm his best friend, and it comes to a situation kind of where it's, me or them. I just wanted to make this movie with my friend, and who had written a great part for me, and it was a lead role. It's my first time, being in one of the leads.
Oh, okay.
So
and
I'm excited. I'm excited for it to come out.